Hi, y'all. I can't hear you. It's way too loud. Let's bring it down a notch. Folks, I'm here to tell, first of all, how many of you love golf? How many of you tolerate golf? There we go. One. How many of you hate golf? This story is for all of you. Love, hate, tolerate is for all of you. It was 1982. It was 1982. And my wife and I were living in Cincinnati, Ohio. How many have ever been to Cincinnati, Ohio? How many would admit that in a court of law? Okay. Well, we would get away every now and then, weekend getaways, and we would go to these fabulous places for just a weekend, like Lexington, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis. One person's been to Indianapolis. Well, we would go, and this one year, I think that's called feedback. There we go. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Well, we decided to go to one of my favorite escapes of all, these short little trips, and it was in Lexington, Kentucky. If you've ever been on I-75, exit 115, you'll see, in 5 miles, you see the Kentucky Horse Park. Beautiful place. At 115, though, you see the Marriott Griffin Gate. And what is so special about the Marriott Griffin Gate? It has a golf course on property. Kind of like the Grove Park Inn, but without the attitude. Well, we decided to stay there. Now, I really like the Marriott Griffin Gate for a couple of reasons. The golf course is one, but the other is, in every single bathroom, there was a telephone. It was like dying and going to heaven. There you are in the bathroom with everything you needed to do, and you can pick up and call room service at the same time. Couldn't beat it. My wife liked it because there was a great pool and there was a jacuzzi that she could spend all day in. So after spending our evening in the room, I told my wife Cindy, I'll tell you what, you go to the pool and you enjoy yourself. I'm just going to play a quick 9 holes. By the way I play, there is no such thing as quick. But anyway, I go out there and I go to the pro shop and I said, I'd just like to play 9. And I'll need a cart because I'm lazy. So they said, sure, no problem. But one thing, we have a couple of other golfers here that really need to play as well. Could they join you? And I figured, well, if they're in for torture, sure, why not? So they joined me, and these were good old Kentucky boys. And when I mean good old Kentucky boys, the only thing that was not true was the old part. These were young bucks, they knew how to play, they were aggressive, they were great. We decided not to play for money because I was so bound to lose. We played the first hole, and I'm not doing too bad. I actually hit the ball for me fairly well. It went about 120 yards. If you don't play golf, that's like a 9-iron, but I'm using a driver. That's how bad a golfer I am. These guys hit like 4,000 yards and they're on the green in no time. The second hole is pretty much the same thing. Then we get, eventually, to hole number 5. Hole number 5 is very special. It's all downhill, and then there's this dark green patch right before you get to the green. No problem. I hit the best shot I've ever hit off the tee in my life. It went all of 195 yards. Please, hold it down. The other guys went about 750. I don't know, they went way the hell out there. I go to my ball, and I'm looking at the green, and I figure, I can reach this green. By the way, I've never reached a green in 2. Even a putt-putt, I have never reached a green. I'm convinced I can nail this green. I go back, and I take my swing, and I look high, and it looks like it's going to make it, but it just falls into that dark green area. I go down to that dark green area, and lo and behold, it's a pond. Well, I park my cart on top of a ridge that is above that little pond. I go down, I search, and there it is. My ball is there. It's on the edge of the pond. I can do this. I can pull out my wedge, and I can hit the green. It's no problem. So I go and I look at my cart, and I had forgotten to put the brake on. This cart is heading downhill towards that pond really fast. I had to think quickly. I mean, this is a tough situation. I remember, I grew up watching James Bond. I grew up watching Sean Connery do the most amazing things that a human being could do, so surely I can just jump into that cart, slam on the brake, and save the day. I jumped in that cart, I missed the brake, the cart, my clubs, and me are in the pond. Oh, by the way, that was the funny part. So now I have to extricate myself from this situation. The other two guys from Kentucky, they're laughing their tails off. But now I have a dilemma. This cart is in the bottom of this pond. Well, actually, there was just enough sticking out where I could grab my clubs. I said goodbye to the guys, and I march off to the pro shop, and it was something like swish, 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 swish. I get to the pro shop, and there's like all these fancy Lexington, Kentucky horse guys dressed to the nines with their golf clubs. They look at me, and they go, "Oh, look at that." I go up to the counter, I said, "Sir, I'm really sorry, but I sank your golf cart." They gave me a reaction I did not expect. They said, "Oh, Mr. Fink, I'm so sorry. Can we get you another cart?" Thank you. That's exactly my reaction. What are you, I'll have to clean it up here a little bit, but what are you, nuts? And I said, well, actually, I cleaned it up. I said, well, thank you, but no, I think I've had enough golf for the day. Facing the pro shop, facing these other golfers, facing these fancy-ass Lexington, Kentucky golfers was one thing. I had a higher authority that I now had to approach. Slosh, 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 over to the swimming pool. There is my wife, with her like reflecting kind of thing, trying to catch in all the rays, and she hears slosh, slosh, slosh. She puts down her reflecting thing, she looks at me, and laughs her tail off. 20 minutes later, she finally calmed down, and I said, "Cindy, it was a mistake." And she said, "Well, you know, I'd like to forgive you, but this isn't the first time you've done something this stupid." By the way, folks, she's absolutely right. It wasn't the first time, and it sure as hell wasn't the last. But I got over it. And then when we got back, I said, "Cindy, you know what I want for Christmas? We always told each other, and we still do, what we want for Christmas. We don't care about surprises. We know we get what we want that way. It makes all kinds of sense. Santa Claus would want it that way, right? He wants to know what every kid wants for Christmas." So I said, "Cindy, I want a rangefinder." She said, "A rangefinder? What's that?" I said, "Well, you know, it looks like a binocular or a telescope, and you look at the pin, and where you're standing is the ball, and it tells you how far it is to that pin on the green." I said, "Wow," I told her, "that's exactly what I want." She said, "What are you, crazy? You haven't hit a green in less than 10 strokes your entire life. By the time you get there, it's like 1.5 inches. What do you need a rangefinder for?" I said, "Cindy, humor me. Do me this favor, please. I need a rangefinder." Well, a few months later, it's Christmas. I'm like a 3-year-old kid waiting to open up my gift so I can see that rangefinder. And there it was. There's the wrapping. There's the gift. There's the box. I unwrap it furiously. I open it up. It wasn't a rangefinder. It was a depth finder.